This is Reasonable Faith with Dr. William Lane Craig.
reasonablefaith.org.
Yes, I'd like to question your assumption that if morality is entirely human, it's also entirely arbitrary and illusion. I'd like to posit two levels of morality. Firstly, we have abiding morality, which arises in an existential way from our nature as conscious and reflective beings, which implies a certain stance towards other conscious beings. So that by extension, for example, if we experience pain, by extension we shouldn't cause pain. Then on another level we have social morality, which isn't abiding, but neither is it arbitrary, because it's created through history by a historical process. So I think we should change perspective and not deal with morality in terms of objectivity, but rather in degrees of abidingness. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you for the question. I do want to stick with the notion of objectivity in the way that I defined it, namely that these values or duties are binding and valid whether anybody believes them or not. Now, obviously, social mores or social morality that you described isn't independent of the way people think and believe. That would exemplify a subjective point of view. But the first kind of morality that you talked about, I think you called it abiding morality. There you see, I don't see why one should think that those creatures that have this sense in the first place have intrinsic moral value. On an atheistic naturalistic view, any kind of social animal like elephants or even pigs show the rudiments of this kind of social cooperation and nature, and it becomes then more augmented in primates and finally in Homo sapiens. But I don't see on naturalism any reason to think that these primates on this planet have a sort of objective, intrinsic moral worth, nor do I see any ground for thinking that they have duties to each other, that there's some sort of a prohibition against causing pain to one another. Animals cause pain to each other all the time. Why think that there is an objective prohibition that they can't cause pain to each other, and why think that they have an obligation to do certain things for each other, like say for mothers to feed their young? I don't see that that is anything more than just instinct programmed into them by evolution. It has survivability value, but for my lights, I just don't see any reason in the absence of a transcendent ground for value and duty to see that these are objective. And so I do want to stick with the word objective.